The question of local language in education. Well, this policy is laudable. It's fundamentally laudable, isn't it? The problem, though, is that it is laudable not just because we've seen it in other countries, but it's being piloted in some parts of Ghana and it's proved to be laudable. But the problem is, in those countries where it has been successful, okay, maybe let me go through the way my producer has done it, and it's fine. It's important that we remember these men. This is Jomo Kenyatta. This is Kenneth Kaunda. And this is Julius Nyerere. The proliferation of Swahili, Kiswahili, in eastern to southern Africa is as a result of the work that these men did. These men were anti-colonial fighters who fought for their countries, Zambia, Kenya, and Tanzania. And they insisted that as part of deconstructing the colonial edifice, the Kiswahili should replace English, as they were all British colonies, and so they were trained in English, and they wanted Kiswahili to replace English. Now, this conversation they had in the late 1950s, culminating in the independence of all of these countries in the early 60s. So since that time, they have promulgated Kiswahili as a sort of replacement for English. And all the people there speak Kiswahili. So if you say that they should teach people in Kiswahili, it's very easy. Let's move on to the Ghanaian situation. Nelson Mandela, because he's a Xhosa, he also added Xhosa to South Africa, and so Xhosa is one of the languages recognized in South Africa that they speak. They speak Swahili and they speak a few other Zulu languages as well. Now, if you look at Ghana, for instance, so this is the Ghana map here. The research shows that there are about 81 languages spoken in Ghana, with only 11 of the 81 being government-sponsored and which are written and can be read. Some of those 11 are Akan, including Asante Twi, Akuapem Twi, and Fanti, Dagari, Dagbani, Dangbe, Ewe, Ga, Gonja, Kasem, and Nzima. So these are the languages that. So the Minister of Education says, teach children in their local dialect. The teacher is employed by government. He goes through a training process at the training colleges. He's qualified as a teacher. He's posted to some part of Ghana. He shows up there. He has a dialect. He has his mother tongue. He has his mother language. He may be posted to a place that is not where they speak the same language that is his mother language. And he's supposed to teach the children there the language of their mother language, which is where the area where he has been posted. Now, all of these complications are available. And you wonder how the Minister of Education comes to these sweeping conclusions and says that quickly we should quickly go in and teach them in the language. Let's look at a place like China, for instance. After the Republic of China was founded in 1912, Mandarin was officially chosen as the national language, largely for political reasons centered around the capital in the north. In the 1950s, the Communist Party standardized the language and implementation in its schools. The People's Republic of China later rebranded Mandarin as a common tongue to associate it with the common people rather than just the elite. That is what it is. In China, they have used political decisions to make Mandarin the full language. So the questions we are going to be asking tonight is, what's the Minister of Education talking about? So you have people are going to training colleges. And they go to training colleges, they speak English and they speak Ewe. He doesn't speak Twi. So when he finishes the training college and you post him to a non-Ewe place and you tell him to train them in a local dialect, or you post him to an Ewe place, but in that Ewe place, the people there do not speak Ewe. Now, here it is. In Adenta, for instance, which is in Greater Accra, the predominant language speaking in the electoral area or the district area of Adenta is Twi. It's in Greater Accra region. Taifa is in Greater Accra region. They speak Twi. Sukura is in Greater Accra region. There they speak Hausa. Banana Inn is in Greater Accra. It's just behind Dansoman. They speak Ewe in Banana Inn. If you test the Banana Inn, most of them are speaking Ewe. Because, as you know, when people migrate, like Ghana, when you go to America, you see all Ghanaians in one place in Oklahoma. You see some of them in New Jersey. You see some of them in New York. Ghanaians are all together in the same place. When you come here to Accra, the Lebanese, when they come to Accra, they all stay in the same place. So there are some schools that you go to in Laboni and cantonments. There are more Lebanese there than there are Ghanaians. And in Kenya, there are some constituencies that you have to be Indian to win. But it is in Kenya. But you have to be Indian to win it because the whole place, it's only Indians who live there. So people, like-minded people coalesce in the same area. So you can have an area in Greater Accra region, which is where Ga is the dominant language in Greater Accra region, but they are speaking Twi. So what's the point the minister is making? Too many questions, more than answers. So you're going to have a school A in Greater Accra region. It's in Adenta. Greater Accra is Ga, so you speak Ga. But there's people there, they speak Twi. You post a Ga teacher there, he speaks Ga, he doesn't speak Twi that well. Somehow we all understand Ga, we all understand Fanti, we all understand a bit of the basic ones, but we may not speak it that well. How is he going to instruct the children? I mean, forget about what I'm going to call computer. I've heard that argument. How will they say computer in Twi? We've heard all that. Put that aside. Even the practicality of those words that are not computer, that we can find the local dialect language for it. What's the communication research that has been done to show the database of teacher training colleges and the kinds of people they are churning out, whether the teacher training colleges even ask the people coming in what is the local language that they speak? Do they even ask them? Is it part of the evaluation? I don't think they do. They don't ask them. You are going to a training college, they don't ask you what language are you speaking. And then come to the final points because they are showing me it before I go to the interview. Look at this situation. Assuming that we get everything right, the right teacher is posted to the right environment, and the environment, they speak the same language. Look at the public service transfer policy. A policeman is gone with his wife, who is Akwapim, and then he finishes the police academy. Then he's transferred to Hamle. This policy says that the people in Hamle must speak maybe Kusasi or something. And then he's transferred there with his 4 children, and they have been trained in Ga, which is their mother tongue. Or they have been attending a Ga school in Labadi, which is their mother tongue, and then they are suddenly transferred to Hamle, and there they are speaking Kusasi, and that's how they are training them. Why do we always make it look like we have not prepared with our policy initiatives? I saw something from the office of the president saying that ministers must be careful that policies have been approved by parliament before they are announced, and I was certain that this is what they were talking about. Why do we do that? Why are we doing that? I'm not sure where this policy is going. It may be laudable. But you see, Professor Jenna Nopokwa-Agyemang tried to implement it when she was Minister for Education in her earlier political incarnation, and it didn't quite go well. So, we are going to interview Edu-Watch. They do a lot of education conversation. Maybe we are wrong. Maybe we are wrong. Let's see what Edu-Watch has to say.